Bridge. Previously. Space. A work in progress. We've attained some power from the sun. Development will continue. Design will improve. Yes, we got our initial solar array. It's wired up. We have our control, protective shutters, under some amount of scanning. And the whole thing is vaguely liquid cooled. And to begin with, so one of the concerns we were facing was the whole power inlet. I've gone ahead and adapted the design into something that will be compatible with the old heavy wire. Well, let's see. So as part of this, the outbound power shutoffs moved over here. And the outbound power wire ends up right there. And let's see, so these two shutoffs go away. And the circuitry wiring actually changes quite a bit. Since it's also, to be more strict to plan here, I spread out these two inbound heavy wires. Let me sever this for the time being while we do some fixing. The tube will be offline temporarily. Well, it'll be back to relying on internal systems. Alright, so with that in mind, new setup for the control circuit. The high signal up to the corner here, as it is now, and down to the lower of these. This is requiring some, on-the-fly adaptation, since the version that I diagrammed up was a mirror image of this, and you can't flip the batteries, so I got to account for the asymmetry here. Then high signal to the upper of those two. And the gated signal to the lower? Alright, let's get all the disassemblies to happen at extreme priority, and then we'll sort this out. First of all, the wire side of things. The wire's going to come in, drop down, connect to this battery via that switch. Then meanwhile, it will have popped out through the floor. And we'll take the long way around. Since it doesn't have to like linearly pass through the battery. And I can move the shutoffs over a square. All be worth it when we get back to smoothly and evenly harnessing the incredibly free power of the sun. No fuss, no muss. Okay, so. Power in. Power in from one side, goes to here. Power in from other side. Goes to there. Deconstruct that tile and that tile. And that tile. And establish that bridge. So, yes, power controlled by switch, pops in there, pops out there. No direct hookup between those two tiles. And then control wire needs to sort itself out. High signal to there, and here, low signal to up here, and down here. This will be far from miniaturized, but it will fit together and be appropriately organized. Its status overall, fine. Yes, then I'll have a bridge to jump the inverted signal down to here. And I need to open this all up. Get access this wire. If I were looking to fold this a little bit, I could put another jumper plate here to bring that together. But what matters now is you and you. And remove those. Alright, the moment that construction is done, in theory... Alright, so now let's troubleshoot why it is not currently in the shape it should be. Automation. Alright, this is actually a small bug that I had heard about, where some auto devices have trouble understanding when they're supposed to receive a signal. Like, in particular, if it's something that existed, like, across a save, some shenanigans can follow. Seems to have worked itself out, though. So hot up here. Don't have any brine ice kicking around as an item anymore. But I just set myself up a little insulated boiling chamber. Then yeah, I can make myself a heat deleter. Alright, new project. Okay, so sitting on top of this ice. And we have the heavy power wire there to work with, conveniently. Repurpose this entire region. Act as my heat exchanger. Oh, plumbing vent. And yeah, get a bunch of this resurfaced into insulated while it's indoors. And yeah, this will switch over to insulated piping. Save the ceramic for something higher power. As always, prioritize building the cladding first. Then we get the interior in there. If I wanted to be very fancy, yes, it would be going back and forth with the radiant pipe a bit more. This has no need to be optimal. It's just gonna do its thing. Again, per the way that gameplay is balanced, Radiant Pipe is just extremely good at conducting heat in and out of liquid, to the point that, hey Josh. Josh, you doing alright? Josh? Hey Josh. There. A fix. Nothing to worry about. Just fridge things. And yeah, now that this whole structure is online, we have a nice continuous flow of power from the solar roof to the interior. So outdoors has temporarily become unreachable because we don't have a real path to the door. This too will be fixed shortly. And let's just slam an airlock in here attached to a switch. I'll make it possible to open this up for surgery. Like, it'll just require putting another small layer of insulation over top of the door when we seal this thing up. Alright, air supply has been a little strained. We're at the limits of what current lung tech efficiently puts out. The distribution channels are not there. That was part of the big to-do list, integrating more water into our systems. Ah yes, I did finally have a water sieve up. Taking in the stank water from our slush. Oh, we have some residue. Also, there's no power to this water filter anyway. You hate to see it. Should be looking into creating some additional oxygen solutions. Even small ones would help with keeping the suits properly loaded up so we can continue to do things in space. We don't produce salt. Could we, though? We do not have salt vine. Any salt we have would be mineral and thus ultimately limited. So, deoxidizer is really not on our list of options. Diffusers, though. That's a fine, dependable machine. Yes, that is liquid chlorine hanging out in the vicinity of this pit. It's thawing rapidly now that we're doing this whole heat processing thing. But, yeah, over here it's, reasonably chilled. It's a bit fridge this way, over here. Making it all the stranger that it has been getting, so hot up here. Making it all the more important that we do the move and get the coolant cycling into some kind of controlled situation. Since the oil will be capable of coming in here at boiling temperatures. Would be nice of it to not do that. Or rather, to not convey said boiling temperatures to other machinery that won't appreciate it. Okay, there's that corner done. There. And there we go. We have the workaround. And right away we get to work thawing the ice. And this will serve as a heat sink for long enough to get us in position to seal it off and use it instead as a heat-deleting steam chamber. Of in the hot oil, of out cold. Protect our space assets. Anyway, about the bonus situation. So, if I just string up a pump and filter. Make sure that only pure oxygen goes into the airline. But then otherwise, just skim off of local power. Also, we'll go ahead and pop in a bridge there. I can instead have a heavy line that is going up to the power main. Aren't available for, hey, some lime. You take those. Overheating conveyor loader. Oh yeah, that's gonna be the old volcano tapper is still doing its best. And now that I know that this line here is big energy coming in from space, now I can just hook that in directly with industrial brick and the lower tube station and everything else. Water supply is looking healthy. A lot of stray water wandering around. Tube. Powerful. Yes, there we go. And just add a quick air pressure sensor so this lad doesn't get too greedy. As long as there is bonus air pressure in the vicinity, just put it to work. Coolant looking good. Coolant will do what it must. Okay, that had went and made itself complicated. There was a patch that happened between this and last session that had gone ahead and changed how they format save files in some way. There, just build out this overhang so we have a bit of a protected area. And then if we just, like, tunnel in over here. Then there is an access way that is secured against the snowfall. And there's always an intruder that needs to be shooed off. Now then, as far as other things to arrange for running stuff up top, I do need to now properly separate out the return power line. That will be able to operate those doors without exploding. So if, to begin with, let us suppose we have a heavy line coming in. We'll have a conductive line go out. Go about its business. As goofy as it is to have this power come all the way into the base and then go all the way back out of the base. And also remove this whole extent of the wire, or most of it, by tunneling over to here. Running a cable up through this rock. Alright, so knowing that I had to make this, and that I'll have to make others like it additionally as we go. I want to build some kind of cooling into it. It has an atmosphere to be bathed in. And I have this convenient exhaust pipe leading to space. If I take this and run some sort of exhaust gas that I'm going to routinely remove from the planet through that tube. Yeah, natural gas as a coolant. Perhaps. That stuff is still doing its job. It's just a little circulating medium that's helping to pull some heat away from the geyser. This place is thawing out nicely. For the immediate time being, the more likely candidate, though, is chlorine. Right, that's my chlorine filter. So also, rather than just immediately jettisoning the gas into space. Like, you'd want to, be sure that the place is up to temperature in some way first. Only bring in new coolant as it overheats or something. I suspect the important thing here is that I don't have an ongoing use of chlorine. No problem with just filtering this and ejecting it. I have set a sizable mass of it aside for if I find an industrial use for it. There's always more deeper in the planet for me to extract. I feel like we also spotted at least one chlorine vent at some point. Chlorine is a natural helper. It'll be there when you need it. Okay, current demand on the power valve well exceeds the power in. Which, good to see that the power valve then naturally regulates that aspect of the flow. Once we have matters sorted out, we'll just continue to extend. Alright, yeah, there we go. Battery block is now down to a much more ordinary battery temperature. Nearly done thawing this brine. Yeah, the oil is coming out of here nicely chilled. Tube is entirely online. An aqua tuner can be used as part of your heat destruction system. The tuner itself is heat conserving, but you position a tuner in a steam chamber and then run a liquid through the tuner and cool the tuner by having it run the steam turbine. The steam turbine will destroy the heat, and the tuner will let you bring your coolant down to however low it's allowed to go. How long are volcano seasons normally? Like our example one that we have runs 70 cycles at a time out of 120. Alright, now somebody build the damn telescope. We do have it on the coolant line. It's receiving a little bit of support. Oh, we've successfully gotten things quite nice. Vaguely nice. Nice adjacent. Space imposes its usual shenanigans on everything to do with heat management. 93% quality out of this scanner. Good stuff. Alright, so this powerhouse needs to get its access to the main. And off we go. I just bring in a local oxygenator to reassert air pressure near the door. Many other aspects of the base are doing good enough. Let's get dangerous. And also, okay, the end of this pipe is not complete yet. I can retrieve that using this once it has power. Any raw materials that you can see, just give them a grab. So, maximum priority, close the chamber. And then high priority, spin the wheel. Slash deliver any other form of power down to this area. It's probably the better way to go about it. You just sneak up here and put a little transformer. Get all the air out of there. We might not need that. Well, I can find other uses for this wire. So I'll continue to install it. Okay, so now that that exists, trim this. Do up disassembly of each of these little weird greebles. And priority, yes. Draw the rest of that wire. And hopefully reestablish power to the security gates before the next snowfall? Probably? Probably. It's fine. Okay, good. Successful retool. And now I could put even more security shutters onto that line and have it be safe. And I was getting upset. And there is barely any atmosphere here to speak of. So I will call that close enough to vacuum and just snip you and flip you. Or you know what, to be sure that the pump itself never gets in heat trouble, just let it finish pulling the vacuum. Now we oven the hot metal. "12 tons of ice is going to be incredibly resilient." It turns out here in Oxygen, the matchup between Snowball and Hell is... there are subtleties to it. The frame data... many factors are involved. Volcano must now enter the fridge. "12-ton Snowball is incredibly resilient." Yeah, without an atmosphere, this heat kind of stops pretty quick. The trace amounts of CO2 in here are incredibly hot. Right, you know what? Let me steal the rest of the atmosphere to actually vacuum seal this place completely. The ice isn't going to melt right away. Very tiny amounts of incredibly hot air. Scoot them out. A single atom of carbon moving at incredible speed. Okay, that's getting its diminishing returns. I don't think that's getting anywhere. I guess if I sneak in a bit of liquid water, that's what it would take to jumpstart this. The other cooling pond is continuing to operate, as you'd hope. Well enough that I will shut this door and close the insulation. Single tiny baby square of legacy wire that needs to be fixed. We have regained knowledge of the space, and you know, let's start scanning some nearby objects. What is that? We'll ask after we've, dealt with the current weather situation. Eyes are watching. Weather is an opportunity for the coolant to actually cool down the space doors. When our coolant is going to barge in here and actually heat up this salt water, like, drastically. And the temperature of the ice ball has not moved at all. Astounding. Okay, it's immersed in magma now. Maybe that'll get it? Yeah, there we go. Now it's moving. As long as it is in a pool of liquid copper. And none of the equipment is melting yet, yet the vacuum is successfully keeping the heat down, mostly. Molten copper, which freezes just proud of 1,000 degrees.
Beep.
Beep. Alright, that wire has been replaced. The telescope is still suffering heat damage. It should probably be made of steel. Looking good. And yes, let's see, down in industry brick. Yeah, we never stop processing lime. We never stop making steel. For which lime is the bottleneck. We have plenty of glass to go around at the moment. Cooling pond is still sitting at temperate levels. A little warm on the left side. It's not yet begun to really bite into the ice that's available over here. Alright, let's pull more of that trace atmosphere out. Pump has got this. Only a few micrograms of air left. Come on. Come on, air pump. Doing your best to extract the final atoms. Got there. It's vacuum. And alright, let me vent the extra chlorine into space. I'll just do that on principle. Chlorine is going on an adventure. Alright, we're some able. Carbon. Carbon lives here. Hundreds of thousands of tons of carbon. Astounding. Limitless carbon. Alright, so now we actually have to send missions to probe it in order to learn anything further. What about our other neighbor? Come on, Volcano. Take another shot. 6 more degrees. Then the force field will break and you can make this immediately flash into steam. Farewell, chlorine. Now, I'm never going to collect the full battle data on this volcano, but I'm okay with that. It can be a mystery. That one's a wild card. A maverick. Just normal water things occurring here in water chamber. Come on, Volcano, you can do it. One more round. Even more carbon. Space is composed entirely of carbon. As the strongest metal, it alone can survive the trials of natural selection. Come on. Do it. You're almost there. Let's resume doing anything with oil. Could always use more plastic. Keep buffering that. Science. And let's see, so to remind here, the steam engine is the one form of rocket we can build using basic tech. We want to start thinking about creating our first astronauts, which, yeah, kinda. Like, the main domestic infrastructure project at this point is to continue to build out the solar array until we have, like, big main power. Which is certainly always worth continuing. Door by door. Or I was going to put another scanner before installing the next array. Which still means extending the security shutter, but keep in mind that I'm going to put another gizmo, like, here-ish. Metal asteroid. Come on, volcano. Snow versus the volcano. 2 enter, 1 leave. Plus I could resume refining metals other than steel. Here. Eight tons of gold amalgam remaining. And of course make sure that I always have enough glass to make all of the panels that I'm planning to install. Alright, I think the mini chiller succeeded in... It did its part, probably. Well, okay, so this foot wheel no longer has any priority. Its work is done. In fact, it can just be disassembled. Come on. You can't miss it. There. Now boil. The moment that an ice cube breaks is astounding. Every time. It just pops immediately into its full volume. A solid chunk of material is allowed to get crushed as dense as you'd like. It can be an arbitrary size. I don't think there is a limit on how large one chunk of rock sitting on the ground can be. Cracked that egg. Oil asteroid. It's full of goop. Alright, so now we have a bunch of water that is waiting to steal the heat out of this metal. This rapidly cooling metal. Which, you know, if it gets down to chilled temperatures without successfully spinning the turbine, that's fine. I mean, we splice in this battery power and pull all of that out, and now we have a bunch of free copper. Of note, yes, solid methane. Methane by chunk. Some of the volcanic copper has been successfully dried down to regular temperatures. Pressure is no concern. This water is sitting at its ordinary preferred density, and we created a vacuum pocket. I think this will be a safe amount of steam once we actually start boiling it. Maybe. Who knows? Just get all that spicy rock out of there. A chunk at a time. I mean, it is still a spicy ingot over there, but now it's accessible. And, you know, it'll thaw the chlorine out. Alright, so we got 2 oil and a metal at the medium range band. Oh, space goes out for a what? Huh, space is kind of long. Peculiar. Who'd have thunk it? And now we will give this its ongoing chance to see if it can successfully boil. Time will tell. Oh, what, are you giving up on emitting because you're underwater now? That doesn't sound like you. Come on, Volcano. Hey, Volcano. Drain some of this water out. Yeah, normally it would say, like, overpressure if it's just unable to emit. Hassan. How? You need to share your tricks with everyone else, Hassan. Hassan. Now, I don't think the additional scanners need to actually be hooked to each other in order to improve network quality. They're telepathic to some extent. Yeah, so starting from the, that angle there. Make you out of gold. So these things are 7 tiles wide. So I think if I just sneak this in right there. Well, yeah, it sits at that layer because I can't put the heavy wire inside a real tile. They'll be fine with positioning that there. Alright, so you scan quality of nothing. Have I, in fact, further blundered by just putting that too close to another device? Because it does crave personal space, the scanner. The shut bunker door would only be partially obscuring its view where it is right now. So I'd be getting, you know, terrible reception, but not no reception. Remind myself of the requirements here. Do not have the center of any heavy machinery within 14 tiles of the scanner's center. See list below. Solar panel is a heavy machine. Alright, so this is too close. The scanner cannot live here. Not directly. But if I, like, hoist it up a ways, or bury it down, or just leave more horizontal gap. Let's see here. So. Go. 14 out would mean to position it over here. And then in turn, go at least this far out before placing another solar panel. Which would then mean first panel would live here in this gap, and then we would carry on into our next array. Think about demolishing the Gravitas library to put the rocket silo directly into it. That's an option. Alright, so I've created some antics with how I have adjusted these lines. Let me snip this. Run that. There we go. I was undermining the functionality of the battery valve. Now it'll go back to doing its thing. Alright, other volcano, how are you doing? Still tepid? Perhaps overwatered. There is grounds for including more power in this setup. There's always use for more power. And let's see, so this first array was 35 wide. So the second array would come out to right here. Just to have a reference measurement sitting embedded in the dirt. So I'll build my rocket silo over here, which will make a lot of sense because here's the entropy nullifier, and thus here's where I want to go to make my rocket fuel for the fancier rockets. Also, it's right next to this corner on the tube line. Crack things open starting here and make some fresh tube. It's an asset to any property. Tube access. Hey, farm, why are you dead? Irrigation. Water supply is low. It's dry season. Mystery satellite. I guess water problem is the next thing to address. Made of steel, copper, glass. Artificial satellite. That's a van. So what's the long-term output of our stench water geyser here? While active, it's another 4.6 liters per second, which is impressive. Just quickly ghosting on out here to collect some free meat. Come on, volcano. Are you really about to be stopped by cold water? Yes. Yes, you are. I made the water chamber too strong. The eternal struggle against the roof. Well, actually, I'll leave this stuff to be encased in regolith for a while. Until I'm able to put up the security barrier. Hassan has been far from lunch. Stay safe. Oil is successfully leaving all of its heat behind as it travels through salt water. Alright, so we do have an endless supply of filtration medium. Even a single water sieve should be able to keep up with this entire thing's deal. Provided that we keep power to the pump, keep everything moving. I am considering installing a sweepy to help with the roof cleaning process. That will entail its own supply chain, though, of varying degrees of complexity. Yeah, manpower is lacking. We must claim an even greater share of the sun. I'm not really worried about atmosphere leaking into this thing. Just want to start my damn volcano tamer. Maybe that'll do. Hey though, why is your auto wire severed? Because that'll be another lead segment that melted, is why. We just make sure that this entire thing is resurfaced in gold. Now, do I care about getting rid of food poisoning? The extremely abundant quantities of food poisoning that live in this new inbound water. Probably. Really, is there anything wrong with it? It is little poisoning. Have some local chlorine nearby. Printable. More lime. Yes. Crab status alive. Several critters are scuttling. Why did I never set this up to export its water? Hold up, let's fix that. I mean, food poisoning just already happens. That's nothing to worry about. That's not anyone's fault. Don't worry about it. Mystery water appears in many parts of the base. Okay, this volcano is sleeping. It can just sit there and do its thing. Other volcano, though. Hey, alright, it managed to produce. Got there. Fresh copper. And the water is warming. You mean unreachable? Stairs are still open. Because there's no power to the airlock. In which case, I should really rearrange these. There. Just move that slightly so the priorities change up. An endless struggle. The benefits of the self-cleaning roof become apparent. It's okay. Connection reestablished. Steel production is at a complete standstill. Water supply is healthy again for now. Get closer. Kill him harder. What? Oh, it's too cold here. Probably insulate this pipe. It is emerging and immediately freezing. That should do it. Eventually. Take some free sand. How did this layer of brine infiltrate the atmosphere room? Because brine infiltrated the water main? Because brine infiltrated the water main. And there is now need to go in there and do some maintenance. These things happen. Need power to make steel. Need steel to get more power. Circle of life. Alright, things getting warm at the volcano. Alright, so there's a load of 1800. You can take one more shutter. Here begins the need for the next stretch of security. And a new power line going up from elsewhere. If I can facilitate that from over in this zone. I'm gonna do some more exploratory digs. There are slices of the map that remain yet unseen. Let's give him a poke. Hello there. What are you? Nothing? Or we haven't finished revealing it yet. Or it's another ghost geyser. Got the old exploratory serpentine wiggling. See where I end up. Plenty of untapped hydrogen that's just floating around down here. Previously unknown deposits of crab. And a copper geode. Crab is a known commodity. Section of the coolant pipe is melted. Hate to see that. Get all of this resurfaced in copper. And in keeping with that, continue to lay out further copper pipe for down the line. Well, not yet in here. Build up into this loft. Getting there. Come on, Volcano. You got this. It's still immediately freezing every time it tries to do anything. Well, the machine itself is now above freezing temperature. Come on. Let's install an insulated pipe made of anything warm-ish. What have you got? What's up there? Why? Why are you like this? Make it out of the nearby freshly minted hot ceramic. It is because the freshly purified water... I need to preheat this. It's arriving at sewage temperatures which are too cold. Innately. Well. What I need to do is insulate the entire length of the pipe. So it retains its initial heat from the geyser until it gets to me. The glacier is fighting back. Getting warm in salt chamber. Getting proper hot in copper chamber. Alright, so when the time comes, this will operate and pull that tiny bit of atmosphere away from itself. Cool. Okay, it sloshed a bit. Up to 71. And the weather is clear. space plumbing is very important. This old pipe is no longer necessary. That isn't doing anything. Plenty of opportunity to print lime. Alright, so there's another satellite out of that band. Power coming in. Hopefully, the steel mill is going to run. We can extend the shield. And section 2 of the shield can just stay closed while we do construction on the next leg of this whole installation. Someone go touch that. Somebody open the mystery door. Okay, but why don't I get to see this? Many crab. Many mold. All with near zero food input. Ooh. Rowan. 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 What is this nearby? Rock obsidian. There's air nearby. Rowan. You're the one who fell asleep outside the breathable air. Rowan. 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 Do you not know how to dig, Rowan? Pretty sure you know how to dig. Rowan. Rowan. Rowan, you know how to dig. Are you not authorized to dig fancy things, Rowan? Rowan never learned to dig fancy. Here, Rowan, you're good at digging now. Rowan. 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 You are now authorized to not die in this hole, Rowan. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. Rowan will be fine. Okay, the water problem will be fixed shortly. There. Now water is abundant again. With only moderate addition of stank. Little of stank. Nothing to worry about. Yeah, I want to turn my next a lot of steel into another 2 megawatts of power. That's really the thing we need right now. Over hereabouts, we'll build the next battery bank and other utility stuff. Yep, let's say in here, in this zone. So, power will come in from the beyond and need to be valved and regulated. There's a main power cable running all the way along here. At this height. From here to over here. Where was my end marker? This was my end marker. There's a heavy power cable destined to be laid down here. Out to there. So it could break away from any point along that. Alright, so this one will be flowing to the left, which was how I sketched out my original one anyway, so can set this up accordingly. Plate there, plate there. Round. There, and there. Shut-offs, like so. And then we put a storage bank back in this vicinity on the upstream side. Power link out to the abyss. Up there. The sound of space, bearing down on you from all sides. Vast, crushing majesty of space. Alright, and then control wire diagram. Up, over, down. Do a little hop. Then negate. And do that. Nice and compact. Oh, and the second module that wants to be a part of this, of sending back out 2 kilowatts to run the security shutters. Not quite 4 tiles that I could use to, unless... If I just bend that down, then I have... Well, actually no, I have 4 tiles, yeah, to work with right there. On which to lay 2 power transformers. On the inlet side of the circuit. And we run the high watt wire, well, yeah, the conductive regular wire back out here. That will find its way up to the next many security shutters. Which, let's take a measurement. 63 tiles of coverage. So 64 tiles of coverage, including that final nugget. Out to here. Which, yeah, good to see that that's enough for everything that we need covered. Misaligned. Off by 1. You'll love to see it. And auto wire goes out as far for control signal. I may as well patch this into the line. I don't think they would destructively interfere with each other. Quick response from Josh. Very good. I really do need someone to address this pipe situation. Flow of coolant has ceased, and that's no good. Need to oven the hot oil. Water's almost there. Since we have both volcanoes running, I will not process any more copper ore. Just that aerospace grade scoot. Hassan. Cool move. Oh, actual cool move. Yeah, you escaped that just fine. Good job, Hassan. Yeah, this is broke because it was struck, not because it is overhot. Rowan. Alright, yeah, there we go. Personal space. Alright, so when I retool things to make some kind of more sensible industrial brick, it can live up here in this former swamp. This volume bounded by the airlock and the lobby and the new power inlet. Living dangerously. You cannot use the thick wire in the bunker door. This is conductive wire. The good small wire. Alright, so a problem with this setup is, well, no, actually, feature of this setup. These batteries, I want them reserved to operate the doors and anything else that I consider important enough to put on the pre-valve side of the barrier. Like the scanners. And probably, when I get active components for the cooling system, bunker, please. Tubes, please. Someone come out here and do plumbing. And let's just try to get less of this scooting going on by tagging all of this as one. One more bunker and I'll be able to actually protect this second scanner. We've No idea what's going on with the plumber. Although, given that gold and iron is what falls out of the sky, maybe I should be not using copper as my resurfacing metal here, but instead something that's available locally in space. Almost there. Any day now. Soup's waiting. Fluidity restored. Hot oil coming in. Yeah, colder oil heads back out. There's still plenty of time to pop this one open before it boils. Let's do some repairs. Let's do some finishing. Yeah, oil comes in at boiling and comes out at scalding. It's highly effective. And the couple interruptions we're getting to the flow are just because those pipe changes are finally getting done. Zesty. Ah, this little bit of ice water is finally melting. Okay, so the rest of this facility. What? A 6-cell battery bank. Conductive wire is going to make its way. Up to its destiny. The oil has a boiling point of 400, which is well beyond the temperatures it needs to handle for use as a circulating liquid. I wonder if the game is misunderstanding how much of my copper is actually available. Hey, Steam! Alright, Steam achieved. We have Steam Chamber for the volcano, just as it goes dormant. Good job. We made it. Celebrate by pulling several tons of scalding hot copper out of the volcano. Is there something wrong with your shipping rail? You should be grabbing the stuff. Well, off we go. Into the quenching piss. Off we go. Yeah, so I got 12 batteries in the setup over there. Yeah, and we'll just make sure that this entire enclosure is appropriately artificial. Some air will vent as we poke the relevant holes. Rowan? Hey, Rowan, could you... Oh, May should be on the owl cycle. But, hey, Rowan? How about you don't? Stay safe, Rowan. Yeah, I'll just surface this whole area with Maverick Rock. And just keep aware of standard architecture. What a sublime coincidence. Look at that. Look at that being exactly where I would have an access ladder anyway. Neat. And we make contact with whatever this chunk is. Good stuff. Rowan has achieved 100%. There you go, Jonathan. Rowan will be fine. Oh, that's that was the good heavy wire and not the scrub heavy wire. There we go. Alright, now trim tubes. Now we have much more convolution in the cooling chamber. Oil gets to make a nice leisurely trip around the bend. Could let a bit more fluid in. Some additional petrol was created and put to use. Gene. Gene. Gene? Gene does not know how to dig. Brew. It's fine. Dupes are just out here being helpful. They find ways to help. What they're for. Someday this volcano will return and be hot again. Okay, that pump has successfully protected itself from further heat. Water supply is healthy. These Thumbleweed were alive for some span of time. Hold on, I got suits. Who isn't wearing a suit? Several. 3 more dupes in need of suits. Then we get on that. The main habitation module here is still running on internal power, rather. Mostly the lung and a little bit foot wheels. Rowan? Rowan, you alright? What's Rowan's status right now? Feeling fine. Yeah. Let's put an extra hour of recreation into the main schedule.
Beep.
Alright, battery module looking healthy. Several capacity. Put a bit more effort towards the work of undermining these glaciers. I want this ice obliterated. And as far as other things to do, always throw a couple of ice plates into the industrial cooling pond. They need a good home. Now, out in areas like this is where I could go ahead and set up the sweepy enclosure. Somewhere within that shadow that exists of the diagonal, just like over here or so. Build a little hutch and install the sweeper. Whose job it would be to traverse this thing. Let's see, it is, to remind again, 35 tiles wide. And to look up my buddy Sweepy. Carries up to 500 kilograms of material. Yeah, but what's your effective range? About 30 tiles. Yes, so having a sweepy living here and another living however far over. Whatever point it was determined that the solar should resume. There. And then the panels themselves fit in snugly underneath. Yes. All inaccessible for now, but there's the allocation. There's the commitment. Who now? Rowan again. Rowan again. Classic Rowan. Suppose this whole thing is a bit of a carbon trap. Open up an access here so we can ventilate. Poke an airflow hole in somewhere. Okay, so I have a clear view of this one now. It's nothing strange. Need to approach the anomaly. What is this? Another empty neutronium slab. Two of them in reasonably close proximity. Want to know more? This is a very unexplored slice of the planet. I suppose we should just go ahead and bore our way in there. This was an oil fisher, I do believe. Oh, did they patch out the exploit of being able to, or no, I was in the wrong mode. Alright, yeah, leaky oil fisher. Or nothing. Let's go and check the mystery pavilions here. Hydrogen vent, alright, good stuff, good stuff. Free power. I'd love to see that. And what are you? Gold volcano. Yeah. Alright. Alright, we're gonna have to reinstall the module a couple of times. We're doing some things. Yes, that floor plan again, 2 up. Then over, probably indent it a little further to give the loader more protection from the thermal shock. Yeah, embed it like that. Yeah, so build this. That and that again. Well, no, not so much for the hydrogen vent. Because I'm going to grab that and just ignite it directly in some hydrogen burners. So what I need is some kind of horizontal heavy power cable that is attached to the mains. Yeah, we extend this straight out to the new frontier. Energy pipeline. Which on that front, I could just do this as well. And then put this on main, but distributed power. Let this send off, it did it, or no, the footwheel did that. Back when I gave it a kickstart. Won't be until next season when this copper volcano gets to put out geothermal. So I'm in a position to exploit some energy resources. I don't know what I'm going to do with this utility area under the solar panels, but it's there. Waiting to be refurbished someday. And yeah, that's good amounts of oxygen generation. That's back into we have inefficiencies. Rocks in space. Unheard of. Okay, Rowan is back to having some stress. Let me build the brain pod so that we can reset Rowan. That's what has to happen. Just to get this set up in the back room. Everyone has been appropriately snazzed. Well done, team. Oil has stopped circulating because I have overfilled the pipe. But that is now safe because the pipes are rated for that. That's just preload now for when I install the next section of the loop. Knock out some of these old legacy ladders. Then I'll sneak in a buffer. And yes, I do have the auto wire hole down there, waiting to go on that layer. Space. I should make a space apartment for, well, astronaut housing is going to be, like, over here under this solar array. Fancy space apartment, though. Definitely important. For those whose lives are now permanently coupled to space. What are Rowan's priorities? Rowan can back away from digging. Rowan can focus on the science, which will one day return. The telescope needs an oxygen supply because you don't need to send a suited dupe into it. There is air in there, so the dupe could just sit down normally. These ones are wearing their suits because they have suits to wear. Regardless. We consider every eventuality of space. Okay, our location. But Lakewood Reservoir has been established. This will provide the elasticity that we need. Really, I might want to have the pipe do a pass of the window, if nothing else. That's what's holding a lot of the heat up here. Alright, so the hydrogen vent here. Once again, I can clear off all the sides of it. This doesn't need to be nearly as powerfully insulated as the other one, because it doesn't get up to magma temperature. And then I just need to situate, like, an air pump, and that's it. get to take advantage of the abyssal light. And then just flop down, a couple of storage tanks. Tube them up in series. When do we get Meat Asteroid? It's a very important question. It's one with no good answers. Alright, so that big power line is coming in as if I had planned it all along. Perfect. Well, okay, I will. I'll consider some concessions here. Let me take a measurement. Right here is where a main vertical column would go. Right through this ice. And then the heavy portion of the wire comes down here. And so on. Yeah. So, space continues to cooperate. Knowledge of the power grows further. Production of several materials is occurring. Gotta knock out these old floor tiles. They're in the way of the big wire. As will happen. And, yeah. No one is dead. Yet. Today. Rowan will be fine. Given time. So, things to do next time. Finish cracking into these. Add them to the power supply and the material supply. Continue prospecting down. Continue constructing the other half of the solar array. And just kind of eyeballing it. There'll be room for a third block over here. Or even just right next to this one if I then push the rocket silo all the way over to the side. After the second block of solar is in, we'll get a look at the rocket parts and see how much space they're going to want. Yeah. And otherwise, continue to burrow down more, actually, as time allows. See what's below, now that we managed to reach up and seize the light. What about downwise, though? Oh yeah, I should... Hey, there's a discovery at the last minute. Salt geyser. Get into that thing. Try resist. Even more water. Next time, Fridge.